Let us say a quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning with heavy hearts, a lot on our minds. We pray for the victims of the families that were involved in the tragic incident last night at Washington Reagan. I pray for all those crew members that are reporting for duty at this very moment, getting ready to go do the same things that their brothers and sisters perished doing last night. I thank you for this platform, to be able to use it as a release and maybe help calm the minds of those that are concerned. In Jesus' name, amen. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream this morning. Obviously a little bit different, right? I just didn't feel like playing music. I didn't feel like, I don't know, just different. I wasn't even going to stream today, but then I was like, I'm just not going to sit around at home and just read chats and look at updates, yada, yada. So I figured, why not? We'll just do our stream as planned, try to clear our heads a little bit, move on. It's not going to be easy to move on. That's not really what I meant, but just to kind of try to get some normalcy back. I do report back to work here on Saturday, so I figured it'd be good to let's get back in the sim. Let's do our flight as planned, and then we'll talk about it. I got some things I want to say about the incident, or the accident rather, but I don't want to make this an ambulance chaser type of video. You know, this is just going to be our normal stream. We're going to do our thing, and I'll share some information that I have, and we'll go from there. But it's tragic nonetheless for all parties involved. So what we're going to do, though, is we're just going to load up here. We're going to get fired up, and then once we get to cruise, I want to show you guys some stuff. I got a little radar track I want to show you. You may or may not have seen it, a version of it. It's off the actual ATC monitor, and it really kind of shows what happens. I don't know the validity or the accuracy of the data on the track that I'm going to show, but if it is accurate, it pretty much explains what happened. I've done that approach into DC multiple times. Haven't been to DC in a long time, but anybody who's flown into DC more than once has probably done the Mount Vernon Visual 1 Circle 33. So it's not like an uncommon procedure. It's not an uncommon event. It's just another day at the office. So those guys were probably happy to get 3-3. It's going to be a short taxi into the gate. So we'll talk about that up at cruise as we cross the Gulf, but let's do it. BombTech, Gulf of America crossing. Yeah, I guess is it officially the Gulf of America now, BombTech? I think it is. I don't know if my maps have been updated, but thank you all for tuning in, and let's get this show on the road, shall we? XP, good to see you, my man. Mickey G, hope the move is going good, man. Good to see you too. All right, let's go ahead and let's get this bird fired up. Now, one thing that's interesting here, I'm over here at New Orleans in 2024. It doesn't even have the new terminal. So we're kind of just, I guess this is a pseudo repo flight that we're going to be operating from the south side, which is, it just kind of hit me. It's kind of ironic, but my first ever flight in 121 Aviation was from DC to New Orleans. So, and I parked at this gate over here, right on this tip. Pretty wild. Just thought of that. So, creepy. All right. Looks like Pensacola. Nah, this is MSY, man. MSY. All right, let's fire this bird up from the hard stand. We're in a 320 today. Yesterday we were in the 319. Today we're in the 320. Let me turn my sim sounds up. Everything is way down here. You can hear those gyros spooling up. Let's get back to work. Max Rank, good to see you, man. Rough day for any of us connected to aviation. That it is. Absolutely. Thoughts with the families that have lost. Absolutely, man. They had families. All of them had families. Just a tough day all around. New Orleans and beignets. I could sure go for a beignet and coffee right now, Cali Simmer. I didn't have time to go pick up a latte this morning. Maybe I'll pick one up later. We'll see. I don't know if we're going to do 2 streams today. We might just do 1. Flamethrower, good to see you, my man. Welcome in, dude. Is my frame gen working? Yeah. It has never stopped working, I don't believe. JJ Stevens? Don't believe so. Don't believe it stopped at ever stopped working. Was it supposed to? Ground control CVR test. Captain Pers, Captain. We'll go ahead and get those into a line. Auto, position 1. Arm the emergency exit light. 25.6 checks out. Especially being on a hard stand over here, you want to make sure you have proper voltages. You don't know if the airplane got left unplugged or whatever. We got side stick. Ooh, do I have my right side stick plugged in? Yeah, I do. All right, cool. Go ahead and get rid of you. I didn't mean to do that. Speed brake. Interesting. Let's make sure everything is set. Park brake is set as well. Alright, cool. I don't know why everything's all jacked up. Flaps are in position too. What's going on with that? Alright, we're back. Should do a proper flow there. There's a lot of people saying they're stopped working on the forums. Really? Well, I wonder... You mean native frame gen? I wonder if NVIDIA like just canned all of the frame gen so you go buy a 5 series GPU. Tried to get a 5 series today with somebody in the Discord. I thought we were good. He just told me that fortunately the order was canceled. So we tried hard, but it did not pan out. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. All right, let's come down here. Let's pull our flight plan in. We'll do an initialize init request. Let's come over here. We'll start the load sheet. We'll load aircraft. We'll just do a regular real-time load. Get the fueling loaded up here while that's doing its thing. We'll hop outside. We'll do a quick little walk around our 320 today on the hard stand. Paper launch on the 5090. Tyson, you got a 5090 confirmed? Nice, man. Yeah, we tried. We had an order submitted, but then it came back and got canceled, so not good. Already saw like what some scalpers were throwing them out there for 10K. That's crazy. We got the LED lights in here today. You can see all the individual bulbs. So, you know, you got the LED version. Everything looks good over here. Walking around. Do a quick little walk up under the wing here. Alright, everything looks good. Make sure you check underneath there. Make sure those cowling latches are closed, especially if maintenance had just been with the aircraft. Look at that IE in there, looking good, looking good. Alright. Coming around the back side, that all checks out. Just cleared the catering truck, that's always good. Got that blended sharklet. Man, that just looks like a real shot right there. Love that modeling on that sharklet. All the modeling Fenix does just knocks it out of the park. You see our ailerons are drooping here. We got no hydraulic pressure. That's normal. All our flap track fairings are in. Come take a look at the brakes. You can see our brake wear indicators. They're right at the limit, but they're still there. So we can go ahead and we are good to go. These are the brake wear indicator pins. They're looking good right now. Take a look here. So we are on a 320 series. You see how much shorter this cargo fairing is here? The 319 is like way over here. So 321, I believe it actually clears the fairing completely, doesn't it? Here's your bulk cargo door. Nice little livery here for JetBlue. Not the 5090, but I got the Win-Win McDo and 737NP. Very cool. Well, that's awesome, Callie Simmer. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. I think we can actually walk up our own stairs into the cockpit, so we'll do that. We'll come back around this side. Just visually checking the aircraft over here. Check up under the gear well. I mean, that is a beautiful shot right there. That's one thing I do like about when you're on a hard stand like this. Look at that. I'm going to take a screenshot. That'll be the next JetBlue thumbnail right there. That looks pretty dang good. The sun coming through the clouds. Alright, up we go. Can I walk in? Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I do like that. Alright, there's our null zone thing. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We're going to go ahead and cancel the... I can't cancel that flight control side stick. That is definitely a bug with the Fenix in the new version, because I've been seeing wrong side sims. We even had... I thought it was maybe the niche hardware, but it's not. People are reporting getting that, so... I don't know what that's all about, but... Alright, AOC flight plan uplinked. We're operating this as JetBlue 357. We'll throw that in here. Cost index 99. Cruise altitude 370, if I am not mistaken. 370. Blasting off here in New Orleans. It's a pretty calm day. Let's go ahead and take off Runway 2. We'll do runway 2, full Toga, PAX 3. There is no SID. It's just a heading departure. Going into Fort Lauderdale. We'll plan on the ILS 10 left. And we filed... we'll plan the 10 left ILS Tiki 3 off of V-neck. So Tiki 3 off of V-neck. That's not, doesn't line up there. What's going on with that? Oh yeah, V-neck Tiki 3. We'll close that disco. Wonderful insert for the 10 left ILS. So I did reinstall Navigraph, but I still get the error message. So if my sim crashes today, I can confirm it's the Navigraph is bugged out or something. So I'm rocking the old flight planner. We're rocking the old charts. We can use the FAA charts here, which, I mean, I tell you what, it's nice to have these handy here. Well, we'll go FAA charts, airport diagram. You can kind of see what's going on. So we'll go ahead and taxi out here. We're over here at these the old terminals. We'll go runway 2 via the ramp and then Sierra blast off northbound. So that checks out. Let's see. We're still loading up the rest of that. How's our fuel? We are done fueling 13.2. Let's check the fuel tanks. They are on board and balance. We'll go ahead and do all that. That checks out. Juice up the overhead lights. Seatbelt sign can come on. We'll go to the perf page here. The init B page rather, and we'll put 13.2. That's in the tanks. 13.2. Where my spoilers are. All kinds of weird things going on here. Alright, 13.2 is in the tanks. Secondary flight plan. Let's do a quick initialization here. MSY to MSY. We will not come back to runway 2. We'd have to come back to the longer runway. That's going to be so annoying. KMSY to KMSY. Is 24 stable enough? Yes, I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, with the Fenix. But remember, it's officially not supported either, so you got to use caution. If we do have to come back, we'll take ILS 11. That's basically, I think it's like, we'll just call it 210 on the Barrow since it's pretty much sea level down here in New Orleans. We'll do 19. Zero the winds out. 5 gifted memberships from Eric, my man. I appreciate you, sir. 3003. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs to the channel. If you pick one up from Eric, make sure you say thank you. Very kind of him to be sharing his appreciation for the channel with the fellow viewers. So that's absolutely awesome. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that, my man. All right. GPS is primary. We're locked up. Progress page. We'll throw MSY in here. Perf and knit B, we'll leave it right there. 13.2, we're boarding. Let's go ahead and get the APU spooling as well. Wait for everything to get boarded up here. North Gaming, good to see you, my man. Welcome in. Did I dream it, or did I see an unboxing of a Moza Force feedback on YouTube? Logo Lights, I know nothing about a Moza Force feedback yoke. Somebody posted it in Discord. I think maybe somebody posted something before they were supposed to post it, because that video has been removed. I know nothing about a Moza yoke, but I've been saying I want a Moza yoke since I got the Moza side stick, so I really hope it is true. But I know nothing, trust me. I'm not good with NDA, so if I was under NDA, I probably would have violated it by now, but I honestly have no knowledge about a Moza base, or excuse me, a Moza yoke. Did I get my 5090 Captain McGee? We thought we had it, but then we got an order has been canceled after some time, so it looks like it didn't work out. Can't beat them, you got to join them, and we tried joining them, and even with the high technology of purchasing, we got to keep trying, right? I'm changing your Discord name to NDA Violator. All right, we got that up and running. Let's go ahead and turn the dome light on here. It got kind of dark in here. We'll go ahead and start the chrono. Chrono's up and running. Looks like those clouds are coming in. I did wind the time back to 7 a.m., so it's 7:16 a.m. now sim time, so it is going to wind the weather back a little bit. Which is fine by me. I just didn't want to take off at midday again. Get a nice sunset, juicy arrival here. Or departure, or sunrise departure. Jeez, English. We'll set our top altitude while we're looking at it. We'll set 3... What did we actually file? Let me double check. I don't remember. We filed 37. So 37 is set. What do we put down here in our init page? We put 370, cost index 99. Let's just go 88, knock it off the barber pole just a hair. All right, that looks good. We'll leave that as is. We're waiting for the 0 fuel weight. All right, we're still loading up slowly. Let's go and look at some departure perf. We'll do runway 02, short runway, sync the prelim. We're going to see what it gives us here. I'm going to do optimum. I'm just going to see. I'm going to see what it gives us here. It's given us a flaps 3 flex of 59 off runway 2. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go Toga. Let's see what kind of numbers it gives us. Toga flaps 1. Do we do a flex and flap 3, or do we do a Toga flap 1? Maybe we should do a flex flaps 3. Runway 2. We'll take a look at that as everything continues to, everyone else continues to board up here, get loaded up. Logo Lights, thank you for the 25 months of support, man. Good job. I didn't buy a Bruner. I'm glad I didn't buy a Bruner yesterday then. Logo Lights, yeah, man. That was pretty wild. We were, that Bruner and the Duke is like the most fun you can have flying a flight sim, in my opinion. I absolutely love the Dukes. Matter of fact, if we do a second stream, I don't think we will, but I might just go fly the Dukes at home because I just love the Dukes so much, man. Quick question: does TCAS not work with military aircraft? Daffins, we're gonna have to look into that more. I think the RJ, the TA is inhibited below. Well, I know your RAs are inhibited below 1,000 feet, right? So your resolution area advisory, that's inhibited below 1,000 feet because if you're at 400 feet, you don't want to get a descend. It'll drive you right into the water. Now you should still get a TA, a traffic, and it would highlight your TCAS. Now, I spoke to somebody who's on the RJ, and he thought that he remembered that the TA was inhibited below 400. But wait, I haven't confirmed that. Either way, you will not get an RA. As long as they have an active transponder, that TCAS would be active. So, at least in the TA form. We don't know yet. I have to ask a current CRJ driver what the actual TCAS system is like on that 700. Does it work with helicopters? Yes, absolutely it works with helicopters. It doesn't matter what aircraft it's in, it works with the operating transponder. So it would absolutely calculate a SPUSI. Yes, it would work with helicopters. Unless that particular helicopter has a different type of, or has some other type of equipment that it wouldn't, which it is a military gold top H60, so I'm not saying it did definitely, but who knows, man. It's the military. Unless you know exactly what that airframe was rocking, we won't know for a fact. I'm sure the investigators will find out, but to my knowledge, especially operating in airspace like that, I think they would have had a transponder on with altitude reporting. So BombTech says it's running silent. And again, BombTech, they could have been, right? So I'm not saying they did definitely. I'm just in general aviation. I mean, you fly you see helicopters, you'll see them on your TCAS. It doesn't particularly matter what airframe it's on. It's just the equipment. Maybe they didn't have that equipment on board. I heard some people saying that they weren't talking to the tower. That's not true. They're on the Unicom, or excuse me, they're on uniform UHF. Okay, so they're on a different frequency. That's very common practice as well. You'll hear that. You'll hear a tower talking to a military aircraft or aircraft that are on a discrete frequency, but you will not hear the response from the crews on those frequencies that you're listening to, because we monitor the VHF, right? Where these are VHF radios right here, VHF 1, 2, 3. So either on discrete comms or they're on UHF. All right, let's come in here to the Atsu. Sam F, my man, good to see you, dude. Good to see you, Sam. All right. Excellent. Man, it got real dark in here. We got to turn up the integral lights. We'll do a flaps 3. I guess you guys want to do the flaps 3 Toga. So we'll do that. Force Toga, no. We'll wait for the final load sheet. Let's go back. How we looking? Only 52 peeps to go. We can probably turn on the air conditioner. We'll do APU bleed. We'll get rid of the external power. Yes, yeah, they were told to go behind the CRJ. That is correct. The flight sim guy, you can hear it on the videos on YouTube now because they've pieced together the frequencies. But I'm telling you that Blue Streak crew, they were not monitoring UHF. So for them, they would not be hearing the communications from the H-60. But what we see on, or what we hear on YouTube now, is they've taken both frequency bands and spliced them together. At least that's what I was told. It doesn't matter if they heard them or not. I guarantee you that crew was looking at the center line, lining up on that circle coming across the riverbank. You want to ideally be wings level as you come across the riverbank and you're going over the water for runway 33. Wonder if there are improvements that can be made at TCAS already below 1,000. Simple takeoffs. Who knows, man? You know, I don't know if that would have been enough. I don't know. Sam, have I circled the 3-3? Yes. We used to circle, and then the 170 could circle. But then I believe, I mean, yeah, this is a long time ago. I'm going to just add it on so I can look at the charts. I think they stopped having the 170 circle. Let me take a look. What's that runway length for runway 1? No, circle 33. So 15, yeah, that's tight. Look at the actual chart here. Airport diagram. Yeah, 5,200 feet. Yeah, you could do it, but it was not the commonplace for the Embraers. So, but we used to do it. At least when I was flying into DC, the 170, if you would run your landing data, you'd run your performance, and if you could do it, you could do it. But you know, I think most guys preferred runway 1, but 33 it's just another day. I mean, Key West isn't much longer than that, isn't it? And what's Key West runway length? We used to take them into Key West all the time, so it's definitely just another day at the office for those guys. And I believe now those PSA, a lot of the RJ, all the RJ stuff is up to the north, right? So landing 3-3, you just get off at Sierra, boom, you're at your gate. So it'd actually be probably nice to be like, oh, cool, we go right, we don't have to taxi. Long taxi. I've been curious as to why they weren't able to tell how close they were to each other based off their instruments. Holden, I'll tell you right now, the CRJ crew never saw it coming. I can tell you that right now. They had no idea. As far as the helicopter, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I would speculate they were probably operating under nods or under night vision goggles. You have zero depth perception under night vision. We'll talk about this a little bit more. I've talked to a couple buddies that have flown under night vision. I've never flown with night vision, but I've used night vision. I've used night vision for shooting and just, you know, on the ground. But I've never flown under nods, but I've spoken to people who have, and there's a lot of misconceptions, and we're going to get to it. I'm going to show you guys a clip, and I'm going to show you what the data says on the clip, and then we're going to look at one of the illusions that you can have while operating under night vision, and it will start to make sense. But we'll save that for once we get up into cruise, because I kind of want to just take our time and focus on that. We're almost boarded up. Everything else should be ready to go. Well, ground control is good. We're waiting for our final numbers. I'll tell you what we can do. Let's go ahead and disconnect the GPU. All right, GPU has been disconnected. We don't need a tug. We do need to be on the CTAF. Well, CTAF in this place is, speaking of communications, is 119.5, and we have an auto ATC. So let's load in 19.5. And our auto ATC squawk code 2463. Oops, 2463 TARA We'll just go above. We'll turn mode C on. Reporting is set. All right, 19.5 is up. Radio is up. All right. Let's go. 7 more people. 7 more people and we're out of here. Why would they give them visual separation commands if they can barely see visually off their equipment? It doesn't matter what they can or cannot barely or can really see. If you tell Tower that you see the aircraft, Tower's not going to sit there and hold your hand and say, are you sure you see him? Do you really see him? No, if you report that the traffic is in sight, you are now solely responsible for maintaining visual separation with that traffic. Controllers like to issue that command or ask you if you have visual traffic, follow the traffic in front of you, cleared approach, because that relieves them of their separation duties and they can now direct their attention elsewhere. Remember, everybody's operating under a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's a lot of traffic going on. There's a lot going on. So to be able to relieve yourself of 2 particular aircraft that see each other, you can now put your attention somewhere else to 2 aircraft that don't see each other, maybe, right? So they like to issue that command so they can then to relieve some of their SA on you and go focus that elsewhere. Yeah, they had a collision prox on their screen, and that's fairly common, and we'll talk about that in cruise. Trust me, we're going to show you something that is pretty definitive. Absolutely, they operate under a lot of stress. Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, man. Something happened with 2024. It's smooth and FPS are great. Just out of the blue. Didn't see any updates. Well, that's good. All right. Way on board. Let's close it up. Dismiss. Let's go. Let's go. Ground services. Close up the doors. Pull the stairs. Pull the cones. Let's go. Bring up the cam. Beacon lights coming on. 4-star checklist. Windows, doors, and slides closed. They're not armed. Beacon is on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is on. The 4-star checklist completed. Bass and balance. We'll send that to the McDo. Perf data. We'll sync the final. Runway 2. Sync the live. Recalculate. We are flaps 3, flex, and 50. We'll send that to the McDo. Speeds 21, 25, 29, 50 set. Let's go ahead and start them up here on stand. We'll start them on stand. Engine mode to ignition start. Turn in engine 1.
Northern traffic, southwest 69, clear of all runways.
We all need the therapeutic stream and heart-filled message. Brian, I appreciate you, man. And that's like, I really wasn't sure if I even wanted to stream today, man. But I don't know. I didn't want to, I just couldn't sit at home and do nothing. And I think, like I said, I think it's good for everybody involved. We can talk about it. Here's the thing, too, is we are a generation now of, we want everything instantly, right? We want information instantly with the advent of Twitter and X and social media. We want information super fast. And when we don't have all that information immediately, it messes with our heads. So we have to, we go down different rabbit holes, and then you have conspiracy theories get born up, and you just got all this different stuff, right? So when we don't have all the information, it's very hard to just sit back, relax, and not think about it. It's easy to say, oh, just don't think about it. Like, how are you not going to think about it? How all the thousands of people going on right now, thousands of people going to work right now to go fly airplanes, how are they not thinking? Every single pilot right now is thinking about it. So the best we can do is we pray for safety for everybody that's operating. And these things tend to happen in threes, which is extremely scary. Now, depending on what you want to include as threes, there's already been 3 crashes. We had the F-35, we had a GA crash yesterday in California, and then we had this. So technically that's 3. Hopefully that's it. But tragic accidents tend to happen in threes. This was a matter of when, not if. Yeah, VA Beach pilot. And how many times have I said that on this channel, man? talk about all the near misses and all the stuff that happens. And like, man, we all know it. Everybody who's an active line pilot right now in the U.S., we all thinking the same thing. It's just a matter of when. It's not if. You can only get so close so many times. Ignition mode to ignition start. Arm the speed brakes. We're doing a flaps 3. This ought to be interesting. Flaps 3 coming all the way out. New Orleans traffic, JetBlue 357. Good taxi runway 02 via the ramp Echo, New Orleans. All right, APU bleeds coming off, dome lights coming off, that's coming off. We'll do all our checks here. We need to be up 0.3. All right, flight controls, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Auto brakes max, takeoff config checked. We're going to go on auto. We don't need the radar. We'll turn you off. TARA 2463 is set. Waiting on the cabin. Let's go. Brakes released. We're going to taxi over some vehicles here, so we're just going to look out this way. I don't know why my tiller cam's not on. Apologize. Gosh, those sounds are awesome. Brake check. Pressure 0. Going to runway 2. Direct enter. We're headed to Fort Lauderdale today. Fort Lauderdale. These taxiway lights are not there in real life. Had a 172 crash here in the Caribbean, I think Monday or so. Ooh, not good, man. I might have to. I wonder if I need to use that other profile. So Moza had an update today. Allows us to use our older profiles with the new software, so that's pretty cool. I think part of what makes this one even more tragic is how instant it was for PSA. 1 second they're flying normal approach, next second they were down. Yeah, it's not it hits home, man. It hits home for everybody who's... I mean, the last time we had a major U.S. airline crash was, what, 2009-ish? So it's... And almost every mainline, I say, well, there's less and less now, but back in the day, you know, every mainline pilot was a former regional guy. Unless you were military, you flew for the regionals. And if you flew for the regionals, you probably flew into DCA. All right, this is runway 2. New Orleans traffic, JetBlue 357, going to depart runway 02, New Orleans. What runway you landing? I couldn't hear you, sorry.
Runway 11, runway 1048.
Copy. All right, he's 5 miles out. Let's go. Rolling takeoff. We're going to do a rolling takeoff. We're flexing 50, flaps 3. Yoga's in chat. Got a warm-up time. Don't really like doing a warming takeoff on New Orleans, but we'll do it here. Spool them up 50. It's associated. Manflex SRS runway, auto thrustability. Thrust set. 100 knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Fly with. Navin. Look at that, he's just landing now. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Wow, look at that.
Traffic up to 3425, line up 20 knots.
Come right heading 060. New Orleans traffic, JetBlue 357 out of 1,800 off to the east, last call, New Orleans. F speed, flaps 1, speed checks. Got a little low there into the VLS, that didn't seem very accurate.
Traffic Delta 3425, departing 20 to the east.
22.8 is up. Direct to Blevins. Insert. Activate. Nav. Wow. Freaking sounds are awesome. SP flaps 0. After takeoff checklist. Might be a pretty sweet breakout here. Bull shark breeding ground down there. Do not want to land that lake at all. It's like the largest population of bull sharks to that we know of. Like bull sharks to waters kilometers squared or something. Rather ditch it on the bridge. Alright, it's pretty much straight out from here. Let's go AP1 on. Full screen cam. Enjoy the climb out of downtown. Oh, look at that, levees down there. That's cool. Turn the sim down a little more. It's kind of loud. There's a Superdome out that way, right? I think. Oh no, there it is right there. There's Superdome. Home of the Saints. I'm going to be punching through this layer here. Outside air temp is plus 20, so we're looking all right. Let's stand by for a breakout then. What's up, James Johnson? Good to see you, man. Dimitri, I wish I knew what size monitor I have. I don't actually know, man. I know it's a curved 2K Acer. It's the curved one. It's pretty big. We need a study level 747. We're going to get one. PMDG is on it. PMDG is on it. Bo, what's going on, man? Just flying over your neck of the woods here. Yeah, we are in it. Some thick overcast this morning. Got some turbulence out there. Oh my, look at that. Beautiful. Oh my. 2024 breakouts, they just hit different, y'all. They just hit different. What? Something, I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not even touching my side stick. What advice do you have when conducting a crew briefing for the first time as a new captain? Just be honest. Be like, hey, it's my first one. If you have any, make sure you include everybody. Keep everybody in the loop. Be approachable. You always want to be approachable. You never want to put off a vibe that you're not approachable, because if somebody has a problem and they don't want to approach you, it's going to make the problem worse. So try to remain approachable. Let them know if they have any concerns to come talk to you. You have to put a little dead zone in the side stick. I thought that for a while. Interesting, Jasper. I did change my settings. I don't think I have the right profile on, but I didn't want to mess with it right now. Everything is 0. My rudder pedals seem to have a little something going on. Wow. I'm just kind of blown away by these breakouts. We're through 10,000 feet. We'll get the lights off. Forward call. Check the outside air temp. It is +23, so we are looking good. I'll tell you what, it's kind of nice to see these views again, though. Just in light of everything that's going on, just the sheer beauty of aviation. Bren, most of them are on Ultra. I know Clouds definitely are. Do I have any Yankee 290, 280? I'm going over the Gulf. I have my UFO sighting over the Gulf. Interesting, Flamethrower. I wonder if I have something on the keyboard still. Surely I don't have the wrong keyboard right now. Let me make sure. I gotta see which preset. Oh, I have the right preset. Elevator trim nose up? What? Delete. Why is that on there? Why do I have aileron trim in here? Oh, that's control num 4. Aileron roll left. I thought we got rid of all these. Well, I'm not going to go through all this right now. Yeah, you can press delete backspace once you get up to, when you, not in that menu. You have to do it in the other menu. I might have the wrong keyboard loaded, Rastik. Do I have the wrong keyboard loaded? No, profile 1. Oh no, this. No, profile 2. My new general profile 1. This used to always be AJ's profile. I don't know. We'll leave it for right now. I don't think it's going to cause any issues, but I'll have to look at that. There's 18,000 feet pool standard. STDs are set once, twice, thrice. We do have a jump seater on board. We'll throw that out. Bill's Mafia, thanks for the 13 months, man. Rip to all those involved. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Yeah, Charles, I mean, I haven't changed my profile in so long. I don't know why I would all of a sudden have those. I thought we deleted all those the very first time I made this profile. So I'm going to have to go back and check something out. I mean, that would explain it. The 2024 keybinds have to be downloaded and updated from the cloud. Oh my gosh. Old XP72, man. So XP flew the Sim Update 1 beta. He had such a bad experience it knocked him back to X-Plane. He's been flying X-Plane now. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, though. That 7.5 stream XP would look pretty dang good, man. That 757, pretty dang good. Oh, I see what you're saying, Charles. Like, have to reselect the profile. Yeah, I'll look at it. Something must have happened for sure because it doesn't seem to be affecting the airplane all that much now, but that would definitely explain it. Excuse 346, my bindings are cloudy. Art, yeah, we just departed Louisiana. In a 320 Shark. That looks awesome. Were you the cameo voice for the 737 sound pack for the jump seat? I don't know what you're talking about, Dimitri. Can neither confirm nor deny. Bluebird win, I know, man. Look at that. In light of all aviation lately, I'm finally a Part 121 driver, and I've never been happier. That's awesome, man. That's awesome, dude. Once we get up to cruise, we'll be able to do a couple things. Well, I actually want to adjust the ETP, too. We'll do that once we get up here. We'll go terrain on ND since we don't need the weather radar. I like to kind of see where the land masses are. I don't know where a good view to sit at right there. Oh, that's kind of cool. What's the problem with landing in the Shark Lake then? That bus feel right at home. No, dude. Too many sharks down there. Yeah, standard is 29902. Spoozy, yes. All regional operators in the U.S. are 121. That is correct. Thoughts on the FS Labs 321? No need for me. No need for me. It's on the sim that I don't want to fly on. It's got it's the same exact airplane that I already have with the Fenix. Yeah, you can use little stickers for $75, though. Count me out. Sorry if I'm late to the conversation. Do helicopters don't have TCAS? Randy, it would depend. It would really depend. It's an equipment limitation, not an airframe limitation. So we don't know. We'll kind of segue into it here as we get in our cruise climb. We don't know, at least I don't know, haven't been told from a reliable source whether or not that H60 had a transponder or with TCAS. So, I mean, obviously he has a transponder. Obviously has a transponder. I meant to say TCAS. So the regional jet would be able to get an RA from a helicopter if the situation was available. At that altitude, it's not going to happen. The RA, the resolutionary advisories, are inhibited below 1,000 feet. So you're not going to have a descend now at 400 feet because what's that? You're going to nose it over. 400 feet, man, you nose it over, it's a matter of seconds. You're in the ground. So the CRJ definitely had TCAS. We'd have to get somebody that's active on a TCAS. I was told that 1,000 feet RA, 400 feet TA is inhibited. So just like on the Airbus, when you're on the ground, you don't get traffic alerts when you're on the ground. It's inhibited on the ground up to, I want to say, like 150 feet or something like that. Now it'll turn amber on the display, right? But it's not going to start barking at you when it's inhibited. So I don't know if the CRJ operates the same way. We'd have to have somebody that's a current CRJ driver let us know about that. Army Blackhawks do not have TCAS. Okay, so the Army Blackhawk does not have TCAS, but it's still equipped, I would imagine, with the proper equipment to give another aircraft a TCAS alert if they were in a colliding course, but they wouldn't be at 400 feet. It's inhibited. The sun view looks real. Yeah, this is bang on real life right here, man. Diabetic Lad, yeah, I haven't got any updates for it. I don't know if there's someone else that's like on a dev program or something like that, but I haven't received any updates. So I'll definitely take another look at it when it's time. I want that DC-9 to be good. I really, really do. It was a gold top H60 VIP transport, so it should. Yeah, so it's a VIP transport, Army H60. I'm sure it has a lot of bells and whistles that we're not really, that we don't know about. But that's neither here nor there. That doesn't really solve the issue. I will show you and tell you, in my opinion, why they collided once we get up here to cruise. We're almost there. And I was talking to, so some of you may know Wignut or Fly Navy. He's in the Discord, former F-18 guy. He's flown under night vision many times. The most explainable reason to me is that those guys in the helicopter were under night vision goggles. You have to understand, flying under night vision is a completely different ball game. So he's got personal experience, and then there's something that is referred to as moth to a flame. So if you think about a moth, what are they attracted to? Light, okay? So when you are flying under goggles, you can have a tendency, if there's a bright light, to want to kind of pull up into it or ease up into it. So keep that in mind as we go forth here with what I'm going to show you. Who said it has proper weather radar? It's default to Zoba. What does? Johan, it's very possible, but I'll share what I think. I'll show you what I think the Black Hawk was looking at. What are your thoughts on FS Labs have proper working... Oh, that's what you're talking about? I don't know. Does it have proper working radar? I'm not sure, Captain FX. I really am unfamiliar with the FS Labs and what it has and what it doesn't have. Just because I wasn't interested in getting another CEO Airbus. I've got everything I need with my Fenix. So I'm unfamiliar with the features of the FS Labs, other than it's got the MEL function, which I do think is pretty cool. But, you know, if it was on 2024, I probably would have picked it up just to try it, but I'm not going to pick it up just to try it on 2020. Since the release of 2024, I've only flown 2 streams in 2020. You ever compare the Indy Builds 321 wing and the Fenix? No, Zip, I haven't. I should have, though, because I do like that Indy Builds wing. That Indy Builds wing looks pretty dang good on that Neo. We'll have to do it, though. Art, thanks for the $5 super sticker, man. Appreciate you. It's going well, my friend. I hope you're doing well. My friend was telling me he wore NVG one time not flying, said he almost fell over when he looked down at first. Yeah, it's Sam. And that's really my only experience under night vision is walking around on ground and doing shooting stuff, pew stuff. Got to be careful when we talk about guns on YouTube. But yeah, so my only experience with night vision is on my own 2 feet, and I can tell you just from that, it can be disorienting, absolutely. So I can only imagine flying. There are a lot of things that don't appear as easy to you to process as it would if you were not under night vision goggles. Andy B, I believe they just called me while I was taking off. Let me listen to this voicemail real quick. Hold on. Yep. They got it in, so I got to go pick it up. I might pick it up after the stream. All right, let me make sure we're 33 for 37. That looks good. One thing I'm going to do here for real world operation, and then we're going to kind of settle in. So I'm going to modify our equitime point. This is something that we do when we're crossing over the Gulf of America. or any other larger body of water. So this equitime point, you kind of barely see it there. It's blocked in there between those waypoints. But it is calculating the equitime with the wind between New Orleans and Fort Lauderdale. Well, when I'm feet wet here over the Gulf, I don't really care about how far it is to Fort Lauderdale. I want to know how far it is to my next suitable landing field. Now, this particular route is not that crazy because, look, we can just turn left and you can sneeze on an airport there up through the Gulf Coast. This would be more important, I would say, if you're going from, say, Dallas to Cancun, or you're going directly over, or you're doing a ETOP. Well, ETOPs, you have to do this, but for like extended overwater, going across the waters route in the, say, you're going Boston to San Juan, you're going out over HF. So what I like to do is I come down here to my equitime point, and instead of MSY to Fort Lauderdale, I'm going to just change that. What's right there on the coastline this side of Florida? Tampa. So I'm going to put Tampa right there, and what's going to happen is that's going to modify my ETP to right here. So now I know, it's much closer, that once I cross this equitime point, instead of turning back to New Orleans, I'm going to just keep going straight to Tampa, because Tampa is an online airport. We service it. There's facilities there, and I don't even have to think about, man, do we keep going straight or do we turn back? It's boom. I know where it is. I'm going to Tampa once we hit this ETP. Once I cycle through this equitime point, then I might just go ahead and put back my original, so I know where I am in regards to the length of the entire flight. Are we halfway there yet or not? But in this particular case, I'm just looking at it so I know instantaneously if there's an emergency, if there's a fire, and I know I need to go find an airport. Do I go straight or do I turn around? I can instantaneously know I've already passed the equitime point. It's shorter for me to just go straight to Tampa. So I've showed this on the shorts videos for the members as well. We've talked about this. Going down over into like Colombian stuff, you'll actually modify this ETP multiple times. So like I'll modify it from Miami to Jamaica, and then once I pass Jamaica, then I'll go from Jamaica to Cartagena, whatever there is on the coast. So you modify it multiple times, just so I know where I need to go if something goes wrong, and I have an immediate, instantaneous idea of how far I need to, if I need to go straight or turn back around. Key 6, appreciate the $5 super chat, my man. Good morning, everyone. Prayers out to those involved in DC. Absolutely, Key 6, my man. I appreciate you. Thanks for the $5 super chat, and absolutely. We're going to go ahead and get into that right now as we're leveling here at 370. Smooth ride. We'll turn the seatbelt signs off. You are now free to move about the cabin. Wingnuts here just in time. Perfect, because I was just going to talk about you. So I'm going to turn the sim sounds down. And one thing I know is we all have a lot of feelings about what's going on in DC. So let's just remain civil, right? If you can express your opinion, but attack the argument. If you have a disagreement, don't attack the person, or else I'm just going to can the whole thing, Alt F4, and go fly a Duke. But I'm going to share with you, and I'm not an investigator or anything like that. I'm just going to share with you some information that I have, that I've seen, that the actual data from the scope, and then I'm going to show you. Wingnut is in town, who we were just talking about the moth to a flame when you're under nods. Wingnut is the guy I was referring to, who's flown high-performance fighter jets under night vision. So he is the source for this theory, so it is obviously a credible source. And when you look at the data that I'm going to show you, it kind of paints a picture of what would make sense. Now, were there other things going on? Very possible. We won't know until the very end, until the investigation is completely. Now, this is one thing that I don't know is does a gold top H60 like that, do they have some sort of like cockpit CVR data recorder? I don't know if they would be equipped with that type of equipment. Wingnut, I don't know if you know, but that would be interesting to know as well. I don't know if we could have inter-cockpit communications. I can't imagine it would be. I imagine that stuff would be pretty classified, knowing the sensitive data. But that is something to think about. All right. So I'm going to pull this up, and what I'm going to show you is the actual radar recording from the scope from the tower radar. Okay, and it's going to show the two aircraft. And actually, before I do that, let's look briefly at the approach plate here to 3-3. So this approach Do they even have the Mount Vernon Visual Runway 1? Okay, so essentially what happens, they were on the Mount Vernon Visual to Runway 1. It's a fun approach, flown it many times. You're coming up the Potomac, you do this little jaunt here, you want to be over the Woodrow-Wilson Bridge, all right? And then if you get a circle, essentially you're going to break off just past that bridge, and instead of continuing to 1 here, what you're going to do is you're actually going to kind of hug this riverbank. You're going to swing out, and then you're going to line up, and the goal is to be wings level. The goal is to be wings level as you go feet wet over the Potomac. Now, it's a very small window here, and this is all happening at low altitude. So this is one of those approaches. You could kind of throw it in there with like the LaGuardia circle as well. You're going to be stable below 1,000, but you're not going to be wings level until you're about 400 feet, 500 feet, lining up with 3-3 here. So you shoot the approach, the visual approach or the ILS approach. I believe they were on the Vernon visual, but they might have been on the ILS. I'm sure they had it backed up. It doesn't matter. They were already on the circle to line up for 3-3. So why is that important? And it's the fact you have to think about the viewpoint from the CRJ crew. Okay, so the bank is not severe by any means, but it's enough to where you are wing up here. You're in a wing up position. What I mean by that is your right wing is up, meaning that your view out to the right is going to be less optimal than your view to the left, right? Because if your wing is down, you could see more. You could see all the way to the water. If your wing is up, that wing is going to block your view. Now, from the CRJ, that's really not too much of an issue because the wing is behind you, but it still plays with your visual reference, right? Because you're in your seat, you're going to be a little bit cockeyed to the left, so you might just be glancing a little bit higher than you would be if you were level. So you come around, you're in that slight bank to the left, and then you straighten up, and then you go straight in for 3-3. So that's the approach that these guys are on. Now, is there do they have a published circle? I don't think they do here. Yeah, they don't have a published circle for 3-3. But that's what's happening. So we'll stay on the airport diagram because that's the most important, really, for reference. You can see here, this is what they're doing. So the crew would actually be out here. Circle up, wings level when you go feet wet over the river. Ideally, it doesn't always happen, depending on the winds. I know the winds were gusting 26 plus knots last night, so it wasn't the smoothest of approaches, the smoothest time to be flying. But you like to be wings level, nice there. At least by 300 feet, you want to be wings level, configured, ready to go, right? So that's what this crew is setting up to do. It's nothing abnormal. It's nothing special. It's, well, special as part as it's fun. It's from a pilot's perspective, but it's one of the few times where you are really flying the airplane. You have nothing to back you up on 3-3. You're completely visual outside, and you're flying the airplane fully configured, low to the ground. That is a high intensity. That is a high intensity and high workload phase of flight to be in. Crew members are going to be looking for the runway center line. The pilot monitoring is going to be looking for a stable approach criteria. What is the sink rate? Make sure everything is good. You're probably looking at speed trends on the airspeed indicator because the gusty winds. Make sure you're not getting a wind shear. So it is a high intensity approach, and it's a normal approach. I guarantee you this crew's done it multiple times, if not dozens of times, if not hundreds of times. I don't know them. I don't know how long they worked for PSA, but I guarantee you it's probably not their first time doing the circle to 3-3. So there's the rumors that, oh, well, the tower told them to do this and they put them on a collision course. That's not true. And the reason for that, too, is it's all for traffic management. And when I show you the tape, you're going to see this here on the radar. What happens when air traffic control gives you the 3-3 circle, if you accept it, now the tower has more time to let people they have more time between aircraft on runway 1. And this is exactly what happened last night. There was an American in position on runway 1. And because that Blue Streak crew, they accepted the 3-3 circle, it allowed tower enough time while they're on the circle to launch American. So American launches, they're circling to 3-3, and then they still have another aircraft behind them. I believe it's another American on the ILS to runway 1. So if Blue Streak said, no, we're not going to circle for whatever reason, then that American would have to still be holding short, and it just slows things down. So this is the norm in DC. Okay, this is the norm. You try to maximize what you got so you can keep traffic flowing. Send the blue streak on the circle. Now I can line up American. Okay, blue streak is circling. Launch American before this guy. Launch American before blue streak lands, and then so blue streak has to land because there's another American on final. Very busy airspace, but again, a very normal day at Washington Reagan. We've all been, everybody that's flown there has been part of this exact same scenario. So that's to paint the picture. Anything else you hear about nefarious activity of doing this or that, it's not true. It's just normal day operations for DC, okay? Now, one other thing, Washington, D.C. is right next to the Capitol building of the United States, okay? The nation's capital, Washington, D.C. That's, Ronald Reagan National Airport. So there is a lot of low altitude military transport, VIP traffic. There is a lot of propeller driven and helicopter traffic all along the river. There are published there are published helicopter and military routes for the river as well. So the data that I saw for the particular path that helicopter was on was specifying they need to be at or below 200 feet. Okay. I wonder if I don't have that document published. I didn't know if I was able to show it Wingnut or not. But I saw a document that talked about these different routes along the. Let me go to. Can I go to just the map of DC? Let's do that. Where's DC? Norfolk. Too far south. Up. There it is. Okay. So there are specified routes for these helicopters to go along the river. And on the FAA document, it mentions that depending on what waypoints, it's all classified by bridges because this is all super low altitude stuff, 200 feet and below, sometimes 400 feet. But it's all visual, 200 feet or below. You're using the bridges as landmarks. You're using buildings as landmarks. But it specifies it must be done at or below 200 feet. All right, so keep that in mind while we go through this too. At or below 200 feet for the helicopter traffic on these routes. We've got a lot of fixed wing traffic going into DC. Here you can kind of see the river. You can see where it's a little bit better now. So you probably break off the approach right here, and you're starting your circle. Try to level it out there right as you come across the riverbank, and you line up for 3-3. That's going to put you at 400 feet stable. Now, all that to keep in mind, and we're going to show you another document, or not a document. We're going to show you the radar of what's going on. So let's play this. Let me bring this up. You may have seen this. You may not. I'm going to try to enlarge it here for y'all. Wait, hold on. I don't want to do the media file. I want to do the window capture so you guys can see what I'm seeing. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. So you could see here we've got blue streak 5342. This is the CRJ 700, Pat 25, call sign, 4 Fox Whiskey. It's a helicopter military transport. It's an Army H-60. Now, this is going to flash, and it's going to show you another set of piece of information. This is the altitude. I want you to pay attention to these numbers. 006, blue streak's at 600 feet. He's out here. He's out here somewhere on the circle at 600 feet right now. You got Pat 25, who is at 300 feet, okay, and he's coming down the river. So let's let it play out. Update, it's cycling. Okay, CA, that is the collision alarm for the tower. That is to let them know, hey, there is a potential risk for collision between these two aircraft. Now, I believe this is associated with a beep, 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 beep in the background, and sometimes you hear this when you're flying around and that you hear it in the background of a controller. I'm not 100% sure if this is the specific scenario and when those alarms go off, but there is an alert say, hey, there is a potential collision alarm here. Now, air traffic control can do a couple different things. They can either space the aircraft out, or they can see if the aircraft have each other in sight. Because if they have each other in sight, they have visual separation, the controller is now relieved of the separation requirements between these two aircraft. And if you listen to the tapes, which I'm not going to play, I'm sure you've heard them by now, but tower control clearly ask PAT-25 if they have the CRJ in sight. They do respond on UHF. Okay, you don't hear it on the VHF, but if you watch the tapes now, you'll see them talk about UHF, and they've spliced it all together. It's Miami Center. We'll call them in a second. But PAT-25 requests visual separation from the traffic, meaning that they've seen the traffic. And then the tower says PAT-25 pass behind the CRJ. Okay, so now we've got the stages set. The traffic's in sight. The controller has been relieved of the separation duties because it is a visual separation clearance now, and the helicopter has them in sight, and they gave him the instruction to pass behind him. All right, I'm going to just disconnect from VATSIM, I think, for now. I'm just going to disconnect for now because I don't want to be toggling radios right now. We might reconnect after we get through with this. So we'll continue on. PAT-25 is at 300 feet. CRJ is at 500. CRJ is descending on his approach. PAT-25 is back down to 200 feet. PAT-25 is at 200 feet. Now, I'm going to pause it here. If you look straight ahead, what do you see down here? This is American 3130. It's an A319. He's on final to runway 1. Let's go back to our night vision discussion. And again, I've never flown under nods. I've talked to those that have. Wingnut's in the chat. He's the one that's been really resourceful in this. He's talked about it. But you don't have to fly under night vision to understand that your depth perception with night vision on, just when you're walking around on the ground, it's like non-existent. You lack depth perception. So Wingnut was telling me that he attempted to join in formation under night vision on a planet because the planet was actually brighter in his night vision than the aircraft he was joining on. And that is from a highly experienced and a highly trained aviator. So it's the perception is gone. You can't tell how close something is. Also, I want you to pay attention to the orientation of these airplanes. 5342, he's on a left turn facing runway 33. This American 319 with all his lights on are pointed straight at that helo. So, and I don't know if this is what happened, but I'm just giving you my opinion now from what I've seen here. This is pretty verifiable data. It would be my opinion that PAT-25 was probably looking at this 319. That would be my assumption. Okay. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were looking at the blue streak, but I could see how that would be a very viable mistake, right? They're looking straight down the pipe of a 319 with all its lights on. The CRJ is wing up, turning left base, facing the other direction. Right now, it doesn't matter because PAT-25 is still at 200 feet. He's supposed to be at or below 200. The CRJ is at 400 on approach. He says he's got the traffic in sight, so now he says he's going to pass behind the CRJ. Remember, there's no depth perception. We'll continue to play it out. PAT-25 is still at 200 feet. We get another sweep of the radar. PAT-25 is at 300 feet. PAT-25 just climbed 100 feet. Blue Streak 5342 is at 300 feet as well. They are in a collision course right now at this moment. There's another thing I want to talk about, and this is what we hit on briefly, is the moth to, what was it? The moth to a light, the moth to a lamp analogy. So it's possible, there's a couple things here, weather's gusty, but it is possible that perhaps Pat 25 picked up the CRJ a lot later, moth to a flame, thank you, a lot later than when they originally thought. Maybe they were looking here, and then all of a sudden, they see it right in front of them. Moth to a flame, now you see the CRJ lights right in front of you. It's extra bright. What do? Moth to a flame. You ease up, you bring the helicopter right up to altitude 300 feet and collide with the CRJ. Now, did that happen? I don't know. I'm just saying this is the data shows that Pat 25 started climbing right before impact. We know moth to a flame is a legitimate side effect of flying under night vision. We know that there is zero depth perception when you're flying under night vision. So it would allude to the fact that it is very possible that this is what happened. I'm not saying it is, but it's possible. As you play it out here, you can see then there's the collision. They were both at 300 feet right as they cross paths. This one here, you can't even say, like, it just, yeah, 3-3. That was it. And now look at this. This isn't that far of a distance here either. So it's entirely possible that the moth to a flame analogy didn't really apply. It's entirely possible they just were looking at the wrong aircraft and they were disoriented a little bit, and with the combined weather effects, they were not having. They obviously were having some type of issue holding altitude at below 200, because you can see their altitude varies multiple times on this radar return. Now, again, this is only as valid as how valid is as data. So, winds at the time, 314, gust 2-3. So, you know, it's possible. There's other things going on. But when you look at it like this and you understand the complications of flying under night vision, you know, the initial, okay, we've got the traffic in sight. They're looking at this guy. They're looking at that guy. Oh, shoot, it's this guy. And it's just a mere second. You know, it doesn't take long to go 100 feet. You know, I mean, Romulus says if you pulled back on the cyclic to slow the forward speed of the helo, you would also climb. True. So it's a perfect storm. We talk about the Swiss cheese, right? So you look at all the little factors, all these little holes in the Swiss cheese that are lining up. You've got a CRJ that's accepted a visual circle. You've got a helicopter operating under night vision. You've got another 319 pointing its lights directly at the helo. You've got a helicopter that thinks they see the airplane, but that's the wrong airplane, maybe. And right then and there, boom. Wingnut says a Blackhawk buddy pilot of mine said they have a HUD that clips onto their NVGs that assists with instrument scan, but basic air work is still challenging under NVGs. Yeah, I mean, my buddy John, he did Blackhawk flying in the Army, and I was talking to him about it too, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, it's a completely different ball game. And I can only imagine. I mean, I've walked around on night vision. I feel like it's just disorienting just walking around, trying to run around and you know, shoot guns. I can't imagine flying aircraft or high performance aircraft or low level flying. Seconds. 1 second it's not a long time, but it's plenty of time for something to go tragically wrong, and that kind of is what it looks like happened here. Do you think TARA is due for improvement, and this might be the catalyst for more investment? I don't know, man. I mean, you can put... Well, there's an analogy for that, too. It's like you can put so much technology out there until somebody... Well, I can't remember what it is, but you can only improve it so much. I mean, what system are you going to have in place at 300 feet? So, I mean, just, you know, you'd have something where it says... It will only give you a climb. It will only give you a climb resolutionary advisory all the way to the ground. Possibly, you know, you could see that happening. But I don't know, man. I don't know. There's also another. So one thing we didn't talk about here is if you look I don't think this was a factor. Some were saying that they think that Pat 25 was looking at the departing American. This is American that was in position and was able to clear for takeoff because of the accepted 3-3 circle. So I don't think, because of the orientation here, I don't think Pat 25 was looking at the departing Black Hawk. I don't think so. I think they were looking at this guy on final down here, because this guy has got all his lights on, pointed right at him. So could be wrong. Maybe they did see this helicopter. They just misjudged their distance. That's another thing. They could have seen the proper aircraft the whole way. Maybe they didn't mistake which aircraft they were looking at. But because of the lack of depth perception, they misjudged where they were. In an attempt to slow down and pull back on the cyclic, the helicopter climbed right into the CRJ. So that's also another possible explanation. But it's just, I don't think this departing American here really was a factor, because in the orientation, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's straight off the tape from the controller. So there's 1630, and he's airborne off 1. I mean, you could say maybe they saw it'd be off there, right? I don't know about that. I don't know if I buy that one. I think I would buy that they saw the right one, but just misjudged it before I'd say that they saw the guy departing. Because you got to remember, there's a big river here. This is a big black hole, and they got a ton of city light pollution over here. They know their orientation with the airport, so you would have to think that because they know their orientation with the airport, they know they got to look south for the traffic they're passing, not out to the north. Even if the heli was at 200 feet or under, isn't it still cutting it pretty close to landing for Andy B? Absolutely, it's still close. But remember, they requested visual separation. So the helicopter is going to visually pass behind the traffic that they have in sight. That was the instruction, and they said they were going to do that. So something, either they were looking at the wrong airplane, or they just misjudged their depth perception, or both. That's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. So that's why you don't hear the controller saying blue streak, break your go around, whatever, go around, because Pat 25 has already acknowledged that they have this aircraft in sight. They've already acknowledged that. So ATC is now, I'm sure they were watching it. You can hear on the tapes just the startling in the tower and everything going on. I'm sure they were watching it on their radar, but you don't expect that to happen. The amount of times a controller has cleared a helicopter with visual separation to pass behind, hundreds of times. Right. Rusty says vertical separation isn't really a consideration. They aren't trying to pass above or below. They're laterally. Right. That's why it was a lateral instruction, right? He said, I'm going to pass behind the CRJ. So even if you're at the same altitude, you're going to slow down, hover, whatever. And you're probably not going to hover, but you're going to slow down enough and pass behind them. A helicopter is much more maneuverable, low level, low speed than a CRJ is. Does the approach flight path for the visual or RNAV with 3-3 conflict with the helicopter routes? Even if it doesn't, are there contingencies? Can aircraft fly too low or high? Nash, not real. I mean, any approach into Washington, D.C. is going to be crossing paths of the helicopters going down the river, because you have to cross the river to land at D.C. So that's not really a factor, because when you are going to be crossing the approach path, it's a lateral separation. They're going to send you behind the traffic landing. Zippy, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll probably rejoin. Wingneck says visual separation does make me nervous in the airline world. I've bitten off on the wrong airplane a few times. ADS-B data with call signs displayed in the cockpit could help correlate who is who, but until then, well, Wingnet, we actually have that. So the Drames aircraft and the Airbus, and I've showed this on the shorts videos and stuff before, is it will show you the call sign and the weight category of the aircraft and their associated speeds and trends and all that. So it is very cool. It is a very useful piece of information when you're flying in a high density traffic area like DC, New York, any of them. Miami, Vegas is another super dangerous one where you have a ton of helicopter touring going on down there in Vegas. There's a lot. So the Airbus has got that though. DCA very congested. The amount of VFR traffic corridors, Bigelow, JFK. Yeah, it's very busy, man. You actually have to have a special clearance to go through DCA airspace, even VFR. So, do you think having communications on different frequencies was a contributing factor? No, I do not. It's nice. It's always nice to hear the pilot of the other aircraft that the controller is talking to. It's always nice to hear them, but that's not always the case. Military traffic all the time, they're on a different frequency. They're on a discrete frequency, on a different frequency band, and you won't hear them. But you'll hear the controller talking to them, and that's for other reasons, for national security and other things. So the fact that they were on a different frequency band, no, I don't think it was a contributing factor. I can almost assure you that Blue Streak crew was so focused on rolling out and being stable at 400 feet coming across the river, looking at the runway, dealing with the gusty winds. They weren't even thinking about a helicopter coming off their right-hand side. And if you listen to tapes, I don't hear anywhere where the tower said, yeah, Blue Streak 5342, there's a helicopter going to be passing behind you. Normally, when there's time, you'll hear that. You'll hear the controller will give you that clearance, like, hey, there's a police helicopter that's going to pass behind you, or he's going to remain north of the final, or he's going to remain south of the final, whatever it is. Police helicopters all the time, sightseeing helicopters. What other ones? Medevac helicopters. So it's common practice that you hear these clearances, but the helicopter was, and I'll be honest with you, as a civilian pilot, when I hear DC talking to Pat 25, I'm thinking it's like, oh, at least it's a military aircraft. They got it going on, right? So it'd be giving less reason. I'd be more concerned if I heard DC or Washington Tower talking to it was a Cherokee 156 whiskey passed behind the CRJ. I'd be more freaked out about that. If I heard him talking to Pat 25, I'm like, all right, we're good. So the fact that they were on a different freak, I don't think plays into this at all. TK too quick. I was surprised to not hear the tower call out traffic helicopter 2 o'clock. Yeah, and I honestly, I don't know this would be interesting to get a controller's take on this. I don't know if there is like some window of opportunity where they prefer to not call the aircraft on short final as far as distractions are concerned. They're already cleared to land. They're on final, despite minus a collision course. They won't talk. Sometimes the only times I get called like on a short final like that is to say, JetBlue 357, no need to respond, but be advised there's a helicopter at 2 o'clock. He has you in sight. So I don't know if there's some threshold there or some window there where the controller is like, okay, I'm not even going to disrupt these guys. They're on the circle. They're fine. I've already talked to Pat 25. It's already verified that they have them in sight. So I don't really think that's part of it. But I'm not saying there aren't lessons learned here or potentially mistakes made, but everyone needs to calm down with the X needs to change or be illegal. Fewer need. Yeah, and Wingnut is 100% right here. And I think, after the Colgan crash in Buffalo, we saw change eventually and all the, and so now that it's almost like people expect that to be the norm. Oh my gosh, there's an accident. We need to change this. That's not always the right answer. And I agree with Wingnut in this particular case that this is just a freak. Accidents happen when the Swiss cheese lines up and all the holes are aligned. There are multiple Swiss cheese holes here. And the only thing that is really up for debate, because we can't ask the crew member of the H-60, unfortunately, is we don't know which airplane they were looking at. But all we know for a fact is that somehow they got disoriented with where they were supposed to be, because they're not going to intentionally drive their helicopter into a CRJ. So they got disoriented, whether they were looking at the wrong helicopter, whether they were looking at the right helicopter and just misjudged the depth perception, which is a very real thing. That's it. That's the only thing that's up for discussion is which one was it? Was it both? Was it one of the two? The Blue Streak was right where he was supposed to be. Tower did what Tower was supposed to do. Pat 25 acknowledged the instruction like he was supposed to do. It's a freak accident. It's a freak accident, and there's tragic loss of life. So, Chris LeBlanc, welcome to Commercial Pilot, man. Glad to have you on board. Appreciate you. I still think there's takeaway from every accident. Absolutely. There's definitely an accident. There's a lot to take. I mean, you can always take something away from an accident here. And I think more of it's going to go into separation. You know, maybe there'll be more, maybe, who knows if there's going to be anything change rule-wise. I really don't know what you would change other than, you know, not allow anybody to pass under a final or around a final. I don't know. But if you're a military guy, there's definitely something to take away, and that's flying under nods is no joke. Depth perception is completely off to the wayside. I mean, there's a massive lesson right there for everybody that's new or going into the military and they are going to fly under night vision. But here's your lesson that, you know, no matter how good you think you are, depth perception is a bitch, and you're not going to have it under night vision. So there's a lesson right there.
Bank angle. Bank angle check. Bank angle.
I think aviation is incredibly safe, no matter the tech, as long as humans are involved, and I think there should be. There will always be an inherent risk because as humans, we make mistakes sometimes. It's just tragic when it involves cost lives.
Callie Simmer, thank you so much for the $20 bank angle check, man. I really appreciate you. And I agree with you as well. I mean, the thing is, if you drive to the airport, the most dangerous part of your trip is over with because you've got to the airport. Flying is inherently one of the safest things we do as a nation. So when there is an accident with loss of life, it is a shock to everybody involved, but it's also a wake-up call that says, hey, no matter how good we all think we are, no matter how many regs we have in place, no matter all the precautions that we have in place, accidents happen. They do. And if you've been following aviation media for any length of time, you know for a fact that there have been a lot of close calls recently. In the last couple of years, the last couple of months, there have been a lot of close calls. And unfortunately, finally just got called up. And this one didn't miss. The worst thing is trying to listen to the guy with the weird blonde hair analyzing the accident. Who's that guy? I don't know who that one is, Cam. I've been reading a lot of ex-pilots, aviation experts asking to close the airport for good. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, DCAs, what are we going to do? Every airport that doesn't have a 20-mile straight-in final and a 15,000-foot runway, we're just going to close it? I don't think that's the right answer. I don't think that's the right answer. How do you think this can be prevented from happening again? I don't know, man. Because it's disheartening, because it'd be one thing if the helicopter never reported them in sight. The fact that they reported the CRJ in sight leads me to believe that there had to be a disorientation with that crew because they reported them in sight. So I don't know what else you do from a tower perspective. So, I mean, I guess you could, maybe not approve any low-level routes down the river while there is somebody on a circle. You know, I could see that possibly happening, where, you know, if they're on a circle for 3-3, everyone's got to hold prior to crossing the final approach course of 3-3. You know. But then who's to say that that's not going to cause an incident further down the line with something else? So my thought would be, if you have a busy airspace, instead of relying on a pilot to spot the correct plane, maybe give them a heading to fly instead. Well, Holden, the problem with that is that controller is dealing with a lot of traffic. He's not just dealing with these two airplanes. He just launched someone off one. He's got another one on final. And he's also, I'm sure, looking at other aircraft on a scope in a zoomed out portion here. But by getting a confirmation from the crew that they're in sight, it's relieving him of that task, allowing him to put his energy on other tasks that are just as important and maybe require his attention a little bit more. You know, I guarantee you, if Pat 25 said we don't have him in sight, there would have been a vector or there would have been a go-around issued. I guarantee it. They're not just going to let them fly into each other. So, and Pat 25 is the one that requested visual separation. So there's really, it's hard to just sit here and be like, oh, the controller just should have done this, or Pat 25 should have done this. I mean, Pat 25 was obviously doing what they thought they were supposed to be doing with the aircraft that they thought that they had in sight. Don't put them on the visual, let them stay on the ILS, even if this costs another aircraft 1 or 2. Well, Mike, November, there's the other thing. But now it's what we say this on this channel multiple times, Mike, is money makes the world go round, right? And if you ever want to get to the bottom of something, follow the money. And while 1 to 2 minutes waiting doesn't sound like a lot, you add 2 minutes to every single flight landing or departing DC, you stack that up over the hundreds of flights that happen a day, that is going to be very costly. So, am I saying that it shouldn't be that way? No, I'm not. I'm just telling you those are the facts of the case. That is why this airport operates this way. It's to maximize this airflow. Because they're not also, here's the other thing, it's not also just DC. You got Baltimore traffic coming up, you got, well, you got Andrews over here too, but you've got all these other airports in the area. You're coordinating with Baltimore traffic, that maybe people on the arrival going into Baltimore, or people on the departure coming out of Baltimore, or transitioning from Baltimore down south. There's big picture too. So everybody is slotted in specific time frames and windows to depart when they're supposed to depart. So when you start messing with the flow of that, things are really going to start to slow down. DC is like LaGuardia, they have to squeeze departure out and route as close as possible to keep up with airline schedules. That's yep, Sam was absolutely right. You know, because now if you start stacking up everybody on the ground at DC, now you've got a cluster on the ground. Now you're going to start delaying, you know, what about, well, they're not going to release this plane from the gate because the lineup is too long down there. So now this plane has to hold at the gate. But now this plane just landed on runway 1. This plane doesn't have a gate to go to, so now they got to go sit somewhere. I saw this happen just last month when we were doing San Diego. San Diego got so backed up that they were telling people to hold in flight because there was nowhere to park aircraft. This was the last month or so when the visibility was way down below minimums in San Diego. Everything came to a halt. They stacked up. All the gates were full. All the parking spots were full on the ground. So after we departed, we're flying back up north to San Jose, and we hear center talking to airplanes going in and say, hey, yeah, we need you to hold for San Diego because there's just nowhere to put you on the ground in San Diego. When you land in San Diego, there is no space for you to turn off the runway. So, I mean, that's an extreme scenario, but that's also part of the issue here when you're talking about DC. I think we might have to be decelerating. Yeah, we need to start down. Manage descent, thrust idle, down we go. We'll set 12,000 for now. But crossing only at the bridge to the south would be an appropriate change. Crossing only at the bridge to the south. What do you mean crossing only? Oh, I mean down what, the Woodrow Wilson Bridge down here maybe? Yeah, I mean I could see something where if they're doing 3-3 circles, they will just cut traffic to go. They'll cut the helicopter traffic or VFR traffic. They'll cut them off. So you got to remain north of the 3-3 center line, and then once somebody lands and there's nobody else on the circle, then they can continue. So there's also a bunch of restricted airspace and stuff over here. This is Joint Base Andrews right here. This is where Air Force One sits. A lot of restricted stuff going on around here. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room. We saw the radar screen up. Yeah, my bad. No, pull that off. So we gotta get our own bird on descent here. Let's go ahead and pop that speed brake. Down we go. I heard DC is one of the most challenging approaches for pilots. It's one of them, absolutely, Nabil. Absolutely. The only fortunate thing is the collision happened over water and nobody on the ground was hurt. That is true, Romulus. That is true. I once did a flight, Norfolk, D.C., clear day, calm winds, and still had to slow down 250 after 10,000 on departure because of VIP movement. Doesn't take much to throw D.C. into chaos. Absolutely right. That's a whole other thing. Getting, you got VIP movement a lot of times at a D.C., and it slows everybody down. Lots of villainizing of military aviation in the chat. Military ops have to happen just like civilian ops. Eliminating training isn't any more option than closing D.C., and I totally agree with you, man. Yeah. This is not, there's no need to villainize the military on this. I mean, they got to do what they need to do just as much as anybody else. And in most cases, they need to do what they need to do more so than a civilian jet flying around, you know? Give the airspace to them. So, it's just... It's a horrific accident all the way around. That's the only way. That's really the only way of explaining it. Are there speed restrictions on the spoilers? No. Would you rather fly circle to land 3-3 or visual 1-9? River visual 1-9. Because 1-9's a longer runway too. So San Diego, I heard it's difficult to land there. It can be. Close it for night ops, only executives and military at night. Well, I mean, closing an airport for night ops, I mean, that is a big chunk of time where you're going to prohibit aircraft from flying in and out of Washington, D.C. So I don't think that's viable. I don't think closing of the airport is really a viable solution. I disconnected from VATSIM just because we were getting deep into the conversation there, and I didn't want to be a distraction to anybody else. So, AJ, thanks for the $5 super chat. It's hard to speculate what to fix when you don't know what is broken yet. Give it time. Only 399 more donos to cover your early morning shopping. AJ, appreciate the $5 super chat, man. Appreciate you. It appears that our early morning shopping got canceled too, so I don't know if it's going to happen. Unfortunately, I guess we're still trying, but we'll see. 5090 lies in the hands of Denali. Thanks, AJ. Topic change. Did you see the Moza yoke? When do we get a review? Why'd you let me buy a non-FFB yoke? I told you to not buy a non-FFB yoke, if you remember, Wignut. And I did not even see the video. I haven't had any communication with Moza since I received the AB9 base and the MH16 stick. So I don't know if I mean, I don't think I did anything wrong. I don't think I've violated anything. But I have no knowledge of this force feedback yoke from Moza. But I've been saying for a long time that I really, really hope they bring one because I like their software way better than the CLS to SIM software that I've been using for my current force feedback yoke. So I welcome it. I'm excited for it. And I wish I could have watched the video while it was up. Not enough glazing. It's possible, Wingnut. It's very possible. Yeah, Oscar, apparently there was a leak of a Moza yoke on YouTube, but that has since been removed. So I didn't watch the video. I don't know if anybody else did, but I don't know much about it. I'm going to refresh the METAR. We'll throw this in here. Lauderdale 070 at 10. Nabil, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships, man. Very kind of you. I appreciate that. 24 and 30, 16, 24, 3016. Nabil, thank you again, man, so much. I appreciate that. I believe you're cooking something up there in the Discord, right? Media-wise. Very kind of you, sir. Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships to the channel. I hope you all enjoy the members-only perks here. And as I get ready to go on my new trip, if you're a member or a commercial member, be looking towards the community tab of the channel for some additional content for y'all. Appreciate it. Thank you again, Nabil. I watched the Moza video last night. Really? Ah, man. Vodka saw it. I'm buying it the moment it's out. Anyone want to buy a Brunner? Really, Vodka? Oh, man, it's that good, huh? Maybe I'll have to send him an email. Be like, hey, hook me up. I'll send them an email. I would love to see what's going on with that. Maybe, like I said, maybe they saw my track record with NDAs. I don't even know who released it. What channel released it? Was it somebody I would know? Interchangeable yokes with buttons. Oh my gosh. Gear lever and switches. Yep. Sign me up, Vodka. That is everything we need. Programmable stuff. Yep. Sign me up, dude. Sign me up. Let's go open descent down to 7,000. Thrust idle. Open descent. 7 is blue. We'll select speed 250 knots as we get ready to go through 10. Let's activate and confirm. Oh, I never put the baro in there. ILS 10 left. Man, I haven't looked at these charts in so long. Straight in, ILS 10 left. 680. Is that right? 800? Is that 802? No, 560, 420. Circling, straight in ILS 10 left, 420. Okay. 420 on the mins. Davis, welcome to Commercial Pilot, man. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Appreciate your support. Welcome to Team Green, my friend. Welcome on board. Speaking of Moza, maybe we should get the Moza cam out. Maybe they're watching the stream. Moza, if you're watching the stream, I love my Moza AB9 yoke. Stick. Hook me up. Do some testing. What sensitivity do I use for the Fenix? Lorenzo, I'm using all linear settings because of the AB9 base. I've got it set up profile for the Moza to be all linear. So all the dampening and stuff is taken care of through the side stick. There was a hint at a haptic feedback throttle. Ooh. That's interesting. All right, I have no idea what Fort Lauderdale looks like in the default 2024, so we're going to find out together. We'll get all our lights on. Probably too late to reconnect to Miami Center, I would imagine. Let's see if they're online. Yeah, they're online. I don't want to accidentally just connect right in the heart of Miami Center there. We had a nice little conga line going too. We got an American, 3 Southwest. And Big Stream. I'll sell you my Bruner if I get a Mozio, because that. Yeah, there's a discontinuity at Hollid. We're going to direct ourselves anyway inbound to Warrer. Let's go direct Warrer. Oh. Wait, before I do that, Zippy says he said you can connect again. Railroad 8 is 10 left, short, and do not pass Bravo 10. ILS is out of commission. Really? He said I could connect again? Let's erase that. For Lauderdale 8 is information India. Miami Center is 32.2. Miami, good afternoon. JetBlue 357. We're level at 7,000 feet. Information India. We had a disconnect back there. I apologize. Are we okay to reconnect here?
JetBlue 357, no. Can you pause for a second? Contact Miami Approach 119.45. Just pause for a second, but just contact them immediately and they'll get you situated.
Wilco 357, thanks. Active pause again. I think because that guy's right in front of us. Zippy, you lied to me. Zippy lied to me. Saboteur. I probably need to slow down. Miami Center, JetBlue 357, 7,000 feet information, India.
JetBlue 357, Miami approach, hello. And you can expect, you want 10 left or 10 right?
Take whatever's easiest for you. We're set up for 10 left.
JetBlue 357, roger, expect the RNAV Zulu 10 left approach.
We'll expect RNAV Zulu 10 left, JetBlue 357. I gave him about 5 miles. I'm going to slow down a little bit. RNAV 10 left. It's good to know. RNAV Zulu 10 left. Novia. Insert. We'll select heading. We're going to Hollid. Direct to Hollid. Insert.
South 2095, speed 210 or greater to Warrior, then 180 to Nove.
RNAV 10 left, Zulu.
210 to Warrior, then 180 to Nove, 295.
LPV.
JetBlue
We have
357 at
FLS.
Hollid, clear the
207.
straight and RNAV Zulu 10 left approach.
At Hollid, cleared RNAV Zulu, 10 left approach, JetBlue 357. You need a speed from us?
JetBlue 357, speed 210 to Warrior, and then 180 to Nove.
210 to Warrior, 180 to Nova, JetBlue 357, thanks. Alright, so we'll fly this as an FLS approach. What did we say the mins were? We'll do LPV 207. It's a DA. So FLS is installed. FLOC. Didn't mean to do that.
Approach Southwest 2095.
I'm going to maintain heading here at Hollid. It's try to join in a little bit early there.
South 2095, go ahead.
What's the distance to the traffic behind us?
Southwest
There we go.
2095, they
Vertical
are
speed.
5 miles.
There it goes. F glide slope, F float.
Roger, thank you.
210 to Hollid. We're cleared approach. This is good. Well, this is good practice here too for the FLS stuff. So we got to have our LS push buttons on for FLS. That is set. Let's go ahead and throw those slats out. Speed checks, flaps 1.
And Miami approach, MH 220 heavy. Emirates 220 heavy, go ahead.
Can we amend the speed on this, the Bonefish Fendi to 240 indicators? We need to get another notch of flaps down with heavy.
Emirates 220, delete the speed restrictions.
I will delete the speed, thanks a lot. Emirates 220 heavy.
.210 to Hollid, and then 180 to Nove. Was that it?
We're vacated heading to Bravo by 4.
Southwest 69, join Tango 3 to the ramp if you can there.
Tango 3 to the right, Southwest 69.
We're trying. We're trying.
Southwest 3425 at Hollid, cleared straight in, RNAV Zulu 10 left approach.
At Holly, cleared RNAV Zulu 10 left approach, Southwest 3425.
I'm going to go ahead and turn the autopilot off for a second. I need to get full boards here. There we go. Now we got more speed brakes. Abby, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. All right, I guess I won't ban Zippy Zapple. I appreciate you. Thanks for accommodating that. I know that was a little unstandard situation there. There's VFE next, minus 10 flaps 2. All right, now we're looking good. 180 to Nove, re-engage. AP1 FAP, we're looking
Southwest
good.
2095, runway 10 left short and clear to land.
10 left short and clear to land, 2095.
Zippy. Maybe I should check my email for Moza, right, Vodka? Yeah. I know I got to I gotta run over to the Pew Pew shop after this. I don't think we're gonna be doing a Duke stream today. If the force feedback yoke is similar in price to the AB9, it'll be instant buy for me. Yeah. Oh man, if they can get it out for 1,000 or less, instant buy for everyone. It will take over. It should take over the entire world. I hope so. I hope I can get one. Because that will be, finally, everyone will understand what Vodka and I have been raving about for the last 2 years. I think their yoke will be a price similar to their stick prices, a little more maybe, super close to the same based on functions. Yeah, I would imagine it's going to be a little bit, you know, you'll have the base, right, and then the yoke add-ons will be a couple $100 probably. So what is the closest, the closest competition is going to be the Brunner, which is what, 1,500 out the gate? 60, probably more than that?
Air Mexico 963 Miami departure. If you're looking for a PDC ascent, you can expect runway 8 right and call me for
Out of the
taxi.
flight sim CLS 60, nothing to compare it to, but I think it's great for 800. Nice, AFN. Yeah, I've heard good things about the CLS 60. Pete Ski, thank you so
negative.
much for the
Did
10
you receive your PDC?
gifted memberships. Pete Ski, very, very kind of you, sir. Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships here on the channel. Make sure you say thank you. I appreciate you,
JetBlue
Pete Ski.
357, runway 10 left short and clear to land.
10 left shorten, clear to land. JetBlue 357. We're clear to land. 10 left shorten. What are we supposed to hold short of, Zippy? Let's go ahead and just slow down. Manage speed, gear down. So we do a manual. Let's do medium auto brakes just because I don't know what we're supposed to hold short of. I didn't read the NOTAMs. I mean, I did read the NOTAMs. Miami Center's here. I have all weather and NOTAMs available. Hold short Bravo 10. Flaps 3. Forgot to get the signs on. Flaps full landing checklist. Back to work stream. Yeah, this,
Miami push, I'm at 220 here.
this one was a rough one, Wingnut. We're going to get, tomorrow we're doing LaGuardia and a 321 because that's what I got to do real life, so
I'm sorry, who was
we'll be
calling?
good. All right.
I'm at
I've got
220 here.
control. Autopilot's
Go ahead.
coming off.
Yeah,
Flight
looks like-
director's
looks
coming
like
off.
we'll
Give me
have
the
to dump
bird.
some
Bird's on
fuel.
in chat.
Do you want to put us on a hold for that, or can you just approve us to do it here while we are on the shoreline?
Emirates 220,
Landing
maintain
check is cam crew
10
advised auto thrust
actually, maintain
speed. Auto
9,000,
brakes are
fly heading
medium.
140, and you can start whenever you're ready.
Landing checklist is complete.
Alright, 9,000, we'll go heading 140, and we'll dump over. I'm not heading, I'm at 220 heavy.
Southwest 2095, make the next right when able, and then join Tango 3 to the ramp.
Right, Tango 3 to ramp. Southwest 995. 500.
Correcting.
Sorry, Bravo Tango 3.
Bravo, Tango 3.
Southwest 3425, runway 10 left short and clear to land.
10 left short and clear to land, Southwest 3425.
I don't trust that FLS diamond. I'm going with the Pappies.
Light slope.
Check.
Minimum.
Two whites there. We're looking all right.
Light slope.
No, you're fine.
Light slope.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Grease it. Oh, I floated her out. Oh, that was greasy. We did a little float, but we're legal. Where's Bravo 10? Let's just take this one. Manual brakes.
JetBlue 357, welcome. Join Bravo Tango 4 to the ramp with you.
Bravo Tango 4 the ramp. Thanks for the ATC, JetBlue 357.
Good day. Southwest 1113, descend and maintain 4,000, speed, actually speed your discretion.
Descend and maintain 4,000.
Airport diagram. Bravo Tango 4 to the ramp, straight ahead. Whew. Alright.
And departure to
Are you kidding me?
445. Once again, in Florida, lower down, ready to check. Going to 10 right.
Guys.
JetBlue 1245, runway 10 right, taxi
The
via
greasiest
Tango 7,
of
Quebec,
greasies.
Juliet.
I never hit the
Figure
record
7, Quebec,
button.
Juliet, just 1245.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Cafe to Juliet, current at Fort Lauderdale, to Fort Lauderdale, altimeter 3014.
The
Arrival Charlie,
greasiest of
departure Fox, turn
greasies.
at Miami, Miami, altimeter 3014.
And we didn't hit record. Well, we might as well do after lands.
Miami approach, MS320 Heavy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna take us at least an hour to dump this. I'm thinking if we can get a hold at like
Wow.
Tubs or Ukraine, maybe right turns.
Wow.
Emirates 220, if you have tubs pulled up, you're clear direct tubs.
I mean,
And,
I barely heard the
1
wheels hit the ground on that one. I know we floated it just a hair, but man, that one, we feathered that one on. We feathered that one on. That looks so good from up front. Erp. Has it been 3 minutes for the cool down?
Emirates 220 Heavy, you can hold at tubs on a 090 inbound course. Left or right turns are your discretion. Maintain 9 or 1000.
Number
and you can
2,
expect a further
seatbelt
clearance at
sign.
2000 Zulu.
Stand by on number 1.
Alright, we'll head to Tubs on a 090 inbound
It's
course.
Zippy's
right
fault.
turn,
It's Zippy.
on a
Zippy's the one that distracted me,
like
making me
like
rejoin.
3 minutes.
Emirates 220, the leg distance is your discretion as well.
Alright, like this is our discussion. Right turn at
Wait for the APU.
9,000 feet on 320.
Southwest 1113, descend and maintain 3000, speed 210.
Almost there. Avail, electric page, there it is. Seatbelt sign, number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fort Lauderdale. Out of 10%, we'll kill the beacon. FO's going to come up here. He's going to do, or she's going to do this situation here like that. They're going to do this thing like that. They're going to reset the chrono. They're going to be really good FOs. Bring up the out, off, on, and in times, the OOE times. So I could update the logbook. It's a hot day. We'll say it's been on for 3 minutes. Get the APU bleed on. External power is connected. We'll unload the APU. We'll crank it down for about 2 minutes, and then I'll shut it off. Deboarding process is commencing. Geographically inverted, thanks for the 22 months support, man. Notams, recording. Thoughts with his passengers tomorrow. No, I got one more day. We'll be till live tomorrow, and then the Saturday I go live. I go back to work on Saturday. So why don't I have gear anymore? What happened to my gear? Does anyone else missing gear on their 2024 model matching? I've lost all the gears. When are you doing the real flight to LaGuardia? Let me check. I believe it is. Can tell you exactly when. It's on Sunday. Sunday. So we're going to do a LaGuardia flight and a 321 tomorrow. Zippy says you owe me a bourbon at Expo, sir. What's it? Run over twice, both unwarranted. Listen, it was warranted for the replay. I blame you. But I'll buy you a shot. How's that? All right, chocks in, chocks received, brakes off. We'll leave him on. Transponder standby, clear in 2000. Let's go ahead and get out of here. We'll go ahead and start shutting it down. Let's go. Those are coming off. Crew supply oxygen's coming off. We're parking this airplane. Wait for last passenger. Last passenger has been deplaned, so signs come off. Emergency exit lights come off. Dome lights come off. Screens don't need to dim them. We're going to shut them off anyway, but we'll go ahead and shut off all the radios. Close off the integral lights. Did you call the hotel? Yeah. Hotel's on the way. All right. I'll get the switch. Come back here. We're going to flip this thing. Oh my gosh. That's modeled? The maintenance bus is modeled on this? Hold up. So It's freaking modeled. We're on maintenance bus. Okay. Let's go. You got your stuff? Yep. All right. So, off to the hotel we go. All right. That's going to end it for me, y'all. Sorry I don't have a replay. I haven't done that in a while. Just flat out forget the recording button. So, oh, we left the taxi light on like a noob. Actually, that wouldn't be on if you were on the maintenance bus for real. Oh, you know what it is? I think the APU is still providing power. No, that wouldn't be it, would it? Why do we still have a light on down there? How did it get power? It's doing the APU cooldown. Yeah, APU generator's still online. That's what it is. APU gen, that's why everything's still on in here. There we go. Now it shuts off. Now we're on the bus. Now I'm curious, real quick. Real quick. Let me go to nighttime. So there should be, on maintenance bus, you would have a light on. Yeah, you'd have like the cabin lights on. That would be it. So, alright. I mean, at least the switch is there. That's pretty cool. Haven't seen that before. Alright. Thank you all for the support. Stream check was clearly needed, indeed. Thank you all for the super chats, the bank angle checks. I know today was a little bit different, a little bit more of a somber stream situation, but again, our thoughts and prayers are with all of those involved. The accidents from last night. So we will be live tomorrow. I don't believe I'll be live again this afternoon. I don't know. I might throw a quick Duke stream out here pretty soon. We'll see. Just stay around. Make sure your notifications are on. You all are awesome. Stay safe. Stay healthy. If you're an airline pilot, adhere to the stereo cockpit rule. Be extra vigilant. We'll see you on the next one. See you.